about God demanded a tabernacle to be built so that when they traveled in the desert with the Ark of the Covenant, there would be a place, a tent where it would be placed in, and this is where God would come and meet his people. So in the Christian dispensation, exactly the same thing. So the remaining of the consecrated species was then placed in what is called, it used to always be covered with a veil of some kind, so it looked like a little tent. So that's where God dwells among his people. So it's exactly the same thing looking back at the Hebrew Testament, and now we're coming into the new dispensation and God actually dwelling among his people. And so that's why the sacrament of tabernacle of the sacrament house is centered there, because it also is a reminder. All the stuff that we do here is like from the book of Revelation. It's all of what you saw in the sky, the throne and the Lamb who is centerpiece within the book of Revelation, and the altar and the Lamb, the Lamb who was slain upon the altar. That's what this all is to remind you of too. See, it's all from the past. It is the reality of Christ and his passion, death, and resurrection, and then it is realized in the new Christian dispensation that it is what will come with the wedding feast of the Lamb. So that's why this all is oriented as it is. And like I said, every historic Christian church, when you go into it, you will see that it is orientated just like this, even in Orthodox. You have to go to the screen and look through, but you'll see it will look exactly like you see here. A little bit more lavish because they like icons and lots of brighter colors. I like bright colors. So you'll see all that, in Orthodoxy. And we're a little bit more simple in here. Any other questions?
Father Gray, associate priest here, wanted me to ask why the tabernacle is not stationary to the wall. Why isn't it attached to the wall? Is that done in our tradition?
Yeah, it's usually attached to the altar itself, or it can be attached to the wall. But I understand as I look at the cloth, when you have to change the cloth, you pick it up and move the cloth. So I know it's by convenience. I know it's by convenience, but you can, it can be attached if you want to attach it. But I know that the reason it's not is because as I looked up here, I said, okay, the cloths and the little shelves are not up there. But yes, if you wanted to, you could attach it to the back if you wanted, or you could attach it to the altar itself. But then you would lose, you'd lose however far back it went.
That was why Father Henthorn didn't attach it.
Yeah.
Which was one because the altar is smaller than usual.
Yeah.
And again because we couldn't change the cloth.
Yeah, and so that's why it's convenience. That's all. I know a number of places do that simply because it is more convenient to take off. But that's.
So it doesn't make us illegal that we didn't.
No, it doesn't.
Okay.
No, it doesn't. Besides, you can flee quickly with your whole altar to take it off with you. That's what you should do. That's what you can do. We're all like I said, we're all like the children of Israel. We're all ready at a moment's notice to take it all and take it on the road if we have to, and preach the gospel outside of the walls. Okay, so everything we have here now, the sacristy itself, it's a very nice sacristy. Where was that before?
That was in this little empty room back here.
Okay.
Off on the side.
Okay, so you have a very, very nice sacristy over there. And I was looking through, and I did. Everyone knows what everything is in there, correct? All your linens and all the. Yeah.
It's better than it was.
Better than it was.
My only suggestion for that would be to get one of those little guns, or print them up, little labels about where everything is. Yeah. Because before the service, I asked for a little straight pin, and so Father and I were opening every cupboard.
That's what the eternal law and the
throwing things up, looking, to see where, where everything, if we had any little straight pins there. But you should also, just mark everything, so visiting priests or whatever, if you're not here, they know where purificators and where everything, the amices and all the rest of that are, just so that it, it looks more set. If you do it in that way. So yes, so okay. All that down, everything.
didn't have a question.
Okay. Let's see more of what we have in there. So I'm opening up to any type of question that you have regarding the church or the sacristy, or what, if you've seen something done that you don't know why a tradition is done, or why, you know, some liturgical action is done. If you have that question, I'll be happy to answer it now if I can.
I do have a question.
Okay.
If we have linen that gets soiled beyond, you know, repair, what are we supposed to do?
Burn
with
it. Burn it.
Like a flag.
Yeah, that's exactly what you do. And see, even in that American standpoint, they know that you burn something, that you dispose of it reverently. So that's right. So you would burn the linens if they no longer can be repaired or no longer can be used for divine service. Okay, so that's excellent. Anything else we need? Yes, my dear.
I was curious about the manacles. You said they used to be used, but they're not. Do you know why they're no longer used?
In modern churches, they've grown into disfavor, you know, and I don't know why. They just, you know, but there's a symbolism of it. People realize a symbol is, it is a symbol of servant. I am your servant. And I had at our church years ago, when all the little girls came with their parents, they said, ask him a question. She said, why do you wear that? You know, she really wanted to know. She didn't see a function for, you know, just kind of hung on there. It was kind of pretty, but that was about it. And I told her, I said, because my dear, I said, this means that I'm serving you. I said, when I'm up there, when I'm dressed like this, I said, my duty is to serve you. Okay? So whenever you see me wearing that, I said, you know that I'm your servant, and I'll do my best I can to serve you and your family, anyone in the church. So that's why it's only worn for the Eucharistic service, because we are, and that's why the clergy distribute Holy Communion, because we're your slaves, technically. That's what the name deacon actually means, is servant or slave. So the deacons, you know, like I said, originally when the maniple was given at ordination, it was given to the subdeacons, who were the helpers of the deacons. And so that was the first thing they received, to remind them, you are now a servant, a permanent servant of the church. And so that's why from any ordained ministry, from deacon, from subdeacon, deacon, priest, and bishop, we all wear it, because it reminds us of who we are and what we're supposed to do. And that's why one of our duties is to give you Holy Communion. That's one of our privileges, is to do that, is to serve you at what they call, but basically serving you at table. You know, this is what we do to serve you at table, because this is what we're meant to do.
Father, do you want to say anything about the so-called stack, the veil, the burse, the you know, any of that?
How all of it goes together?
I'm sure.
Well, that's why in here there is a drawing. There's a drawing that if you get confused, and I'm going to tell you, sometimes you can get really confused. I do it sometimes. And if you're not used to doing it, there is, right there, it's on page 26. On page 26. And it shows you right there how to vest a chalice. It's called vesting a chalice. And then right on the top, for clergy, it shows you when you have the elements for Holy Communion, how to put them. The paten goes in the front, the chalice immediately behind with the paten or the host, and then a flagon or any other the liturgical or any other vessels for Holy Communion are placed there. And if you go to page 28, it'll show you what all the vessels are, all the sacred vessels. And the only reason why we would use flagons or cruets is because when we have larger groups for Holy Communion, you know, you can't fill the chalice all the way up because you'll spill it. And so you want to make sure that you have an extra flagon or extra cruet, so that you can consecrate and just retrieve the sacrament from those extra vessels.
Now, is that the sacred vessels? Is this something that developed over the centuries, or is it something that was determined early on? And
anything used in the sacred liturgy was always put aside. Like you don't use when we were coming out of the catacombs, even before that, the vessels that you use to hold the gifts, to hold the bread and the wine, once you use them for the Eucharist, they were permanently changed. They were permanently dedicated to Almighty God just by the use of them. And so they kept them, you know, separate. We're going to put them here separate, and we're only using them for divine service. And that's how the sacred vessels developed. Specifically because once you use it, once you dedicate it to Almighty God, you don't take it back.
Okay.
You know. And so in the early church, there were vessels were used of anything that was precious or sacred, even to crystal. In the early church, they used beautiful dun crystal and the rest of that, but that's impractical because you drop those things and they shatter all over the place. But on some earlier chalices, you will see some of the jewels and enamel work are pagan cameos and things that people had donated, and then they put them, they put them on. They put them on this. Some of them shouldn't be on there. You look and go, oh, there's some woman dancing. Oh, okay, that's all right. But it was terribly expensive, probably ivory or whatever, carved. And they come and gave it and said, please use it for the altar. So that's what they did. But see, so anything that we use, anything that is dedicated to Almighty God, we should keep. We should keep exactly, for the use of Almighty God.
And how you're doing it, the procedure, did the procedures for how they get taken care of, did those procedures all occur at one time, or did they develop throughout centuries?
Yeah, well, they did develop over centuries, but like I said, they all, everyone, they knew as you're taking care of something sacred like this, that you had to be, and it used to be only the clerics of the church did it. That's why they had what were called the minor orders. Okay, there were at least 5 minor orders that led up to diaconate. Okay, and there was the porter who opened and shut the doors of the church. There was the lector, whose job it was to read sacred readings. There was the exorcist, whose duty was to not only drive out demons, but also to instruct the catechumens who were coming into the church. That was the main duty of the exorcist, was to instruct people, right? And then to do the prayers, to drive anything out that they might have come in with. The doorkeeper, acolyte, which we still have today, which are the ones that were taking care of the sacred vessels. And so the acolytes were the only ones, that specific duty was to take care of all the sacred vessels, and to make sure that all the cruets, everything was ready, the wine and the water, all the bread was prepared, the chalice and everything was ready, the linens and everything was done, so that the higher clergy didn't have to worry about that. And then, but nowadays, and what we have within our church is that it's a wonderful ministry to share with lay people that wish to do it, mostly women, that have, that are privileged to come in and to handle the sacred vessels, to do the sacred linens, to make sure that the church is beautiful, for divine service. And those of you that can sew, to make lovely things for the altar. We talked about this while you were gone. That's how I know you can sew.
I don't sew. I can do handwork.
Handwork.
Handwork is even better. You sew it together, have her start embroidering little crosses and things on things. But that's all of what it is, and that's the privilege that people have. And so whatever gifts you can do, to make something beautiful for Almighty God, because a lot of you look in your catalogs, right? Now I want to warn you about catalogs. And all of you, the Altar Guild, do you know the catalogs, Almy and Sons, and whatever else, church goods stores? They cheat you. They cheat you. They charge you 1,000 times more than they have purchased it for. You don't have to get everything out of church catalogs. In fact, I would say don't, because they like I said, if you can do it yourself. And some of this inside of this manual that I put in there, it tells you how and the proportions and how you can make them and what you make them out of, and do it yourself. Because also it's like who did the little Who did the needlepoint here?
Different people did the different needle points,
Mm-hmm.
and one person who can sew put it together.
Put it all together. See, because this all makes, see, this is wonderful that people see something that they have done to make the church beautiful. That people will always, people will always be looking at it and go, that's really neat. That person did a wonderful job. And so the same thing here with your paraments. If you want to change them, if you want to make them different, go shopping, go out, and like I said, into those fabric stores, go out into the upholstery stores, and if it looks as long as it doesn't like have little people and things in it, like weird. But even that's even part of the tradition. They used to even do that like 400 years ago. Tapestry with like people playing, hunting deer or something like that. They've actually used to have tapestries. Like they used to make vestments out of them because they were expensive cloth. So, but they're not worn much anymore. Usually in museums. But just think about that. Use your creativity. Do not limit your creativity. Okay, as long as it's not obscene, and that it would look and it would enhance the beauty of the church, make it. Do it yourself. Don't sell yourself short, and then you'll save a lot of money. You'll save a lot of money, in what you do here, and then especially then you can save it up and maybe buy another chalice, or buy a better altar vessel, and then you won't have a lot to worry about with that. See, once you get nice, you can always keep them. They always work well. Okay. Are there any other questions?
Candles, once they burn down to the point where you can't use them anymore,
Mm-hmm.
we have a pile of them out in the sacristy.
Do
What
you?
do we do with them?
Father Kevin Lamar in Raymond, he collects candle pieces. That's what he does. Save them for him. And give them to Father Kalish, and he's going down. Oh, he said he wants to see you anyway.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, he misses you.
Oh,
You don't come see him anymore.
wow. Bless his heart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if Father Kalish is going down to some place, hand them to him, or we'll get them there to him some way, but we'll take them. We'll take them because he makes candles for himself out of them. That's how he, it's cheaper that way. Because I think he has mold and things like that. He can make candles. But that's perfect. So, any other questions? Nothing? All right, it's now almost 1:15. So I think we're okay. Thank you.
Thank you.